PC computer installation, how it's work, and many things we're talking about here. Many servers is also available for the single board computers like the well-known Raspberry Pi. Installation work quite different through, but the end of Fedora server work application level is exactly otherwise. So how it's work? Single board computers originally had one data storage medium and SD card. The device experts ready to use operating system configured precisely for the respective hardware. This original principle is still maintained today, and it's a universal method provided by the every single board control model. Therefore, this Fedora Server Edition is distributed as the Fedora Server Edition. This installation is simply a matter of copying this image file to an attachable storage medium, traditionally an SD card, while at the same time making adjustment to the specific hardware and some software configuration in the process. Many single board computers models today additionally offers other media that can also be the target of this copying process. Often eMMC storage some can also support external firmware, usually in the form of this SPI model that allow for the selection during boot, example NB board using USB sticks. Prerequisites, of course, you need suitable single board computer model supported by Fedora and with the network connection, keyboard and display. A simple text console to perfectly sufficient. The initial configuration at first boot is performed on the local text terminal and performance on the barrier mini initial configuration. Afterward, you will perform everything using other SSH more comfortably using Checkbit graphical web-based interface, which is pre-installed and activated by default. Of course, you can continue use the text terminal as well. A bootable removable disk of suitable size. Practically, this is the either an SD card or eMMC storage, a removable daughter board. In special cases, when UEFI capable SPI is available, booting from USB or other media may also be possible. The absolute minimum capacity is 8 GB, but avoid anything smaller than 16 GB. This is the final summary video about the introduction to single board computing. This is the introductory post which deals with the single board computer that need an example. Two popular brand, Raspberry Pi and Beaglebone Blake, but here we are only going to learn Raspberry Pi. That is also discussed in detail. And so with the advanced technology in the consumer electronic domain, single board computers have become quite popular among both consumers and developers. These days everyone have virtually become so much wired they cannot live without these so called gadget, right from the mobile phone in your pocket to high-end gaming console including tablet, PC, iPod, etc. Everything is basically a single board computer. So single board computers, what are they? Yes, you guessed it right, it is computer in a single board. Now obviously you might raise the question, are there multiple board computers are as well? Well, as a matter of the fact, yes, there is a difference between traditional computer and single board computers. And single board computers, you will must familiar that full fledged computer like PC and Mac have a motherboard. On the motherboard you will gently find a processor like Intel or Core, AMD, Athlon, etc. and other circuitry associated with that. You will also find slot for the other peripheral like RAM, ROM, hard disk, LAN card, CPU, fan, heat sink, LCD monitor, etc. These peripherals need to be attached to the motherboard separately in order to make the PC/Mac fully functional. Unlike PC and Mac, single board computers consist of the everything on a single board itself. On the board we have a processor and all other necessary peripheral and circuitry as well. We have onboard RAM, ROM, flash storage, AV ports, Ethernet port, etc. This means that one board is sufficient to act as a full edge computer. Yes, even they can boot into an operating system like a Linux, Android, etc. and operate like any other computer. Being lightweight and specific, they have found huge application in the smartphones, tablet, and other consumer products. These days, semiconductor manufacturers are building ever powerful processors, which are no less than beast. Thanks to Moore's law, these processors based upon the unique architecture like ARM, Intel EX8060 or other custom architecture give whopping performance like 1.2 GB combined with the 1 GB DDR3 RAM, 2 GB flash storage and USB port. It become a single board computer. Simply power it up, connect to a display device and boom, you are all set to go. Your computer has successfully booted into OS operating system like Linux, Android, etc. These single board computers are not as powerful as the current day PCs, laptops or Mac and hence do not dissipate much heat. In addition to that, the processors are designed in order to generate less heat and consume less power. That's why you can run your smartphone the entire day without charging the battery or cooling it down. All the electronic gadgets that you see around a smartphone, tablet, etc. have one such single board computer inside them. Their motherboard, most of them will run Android and iOS operating system just like Windows, Linux, Mac, etc. You can download and install apps just like you do on your PC. Why do we need them? There are the several reasons. You might use the single board computer, portability being one of the major feature. You can carry your smartphone in your pocket everywhere you go. These devices are pretty initiative to use as well. They consume less power and energy as compared to traditional computers. The most important feature is being cost effective. Being low cost effective, this product can reach much larger part of the community, and this makes them suitable for the developer application as the built for the development to new apps, testing, debugging, hardware development, hacking, etc. Example as the end user for a consumer. The examples that all around you, electronic gadget, smartphones. Next time you look like any such gadget, Google out its specification. As a developer, apart from the gadget, there are some notable single board computers available in the market for both hardware and software development. Some of them include Raspberry Pi, Beagle Board XM, Beagle Bone Black, Panda Board, Chubby Board, Mars Board, Hackberry, Udo, etc. Recently, Intel has entered into the open source world with the Atom processor based Minao board. So in this, we will further discussing mostly about the Raspberry Pi and the Bagel, since the two are the most cost effective and small size single board computer. If you see this picture of the Raspberry Pi, then you find that this is the very little bit single Raspberry Pi, and this is only like chips like a circle. And Raspberry Pi is a credit card size single board computer developed by the UK based Raspberry Pi Foundation for the sole intention of teaching programming and basic computer science to school students. It's run Linux on the 700 mAh ARM processor, has two USB ports to connect the keyboard and mouse. These support videos via HDMI and RCA. These connect to the internet by the Ethernet port, storage handled by the SD card, and what's bill below the you may record merely $35. Even if before it was launched in February 2012, it had gone viral among people. When I ordered it, it was back ordered and took around 8 to 10 weeks for me to get it. But that is not the problem now. It is the manufactured and sold by the Element Port, Pernel, RS component and Egonon. The cost is now because there is no overhead charges, just the manufacturing cost. Reason being Raspberry Pi Foundation is non-profit organization aiming for charity and want their product to be available and affordable to everyone. You can check out their Raspberry website for the several success story and charitable purpose. However, the low cost of the Pi has led the several developers get their hand on it and work out several interesting projects and hacks using it. The presence of GPU, general purpose input output pins on the board, has enabled many developers to use it several physical computing projects, which include hardware interfacing of the electronics. Since it is open source, it has a huge community supporting it. Raspberry Pi specification. There are the two models of the Raspberry Pi model, Model A and Model B. Let's have a look on the some of the specific Raspberry model, like Model A and Model B. Target price, and then system on a chip, Boardcom separate chip on the top, CPU Boardcom video core, memory, USB 2.0 port, one provided by the BCM needed, audio output TRS connector, 35 onboard storage, onboard network, low level peripheral, real time clock, power rating, power sources and size. Raspberry Pi Model B, you can see here, Rika video, audio, LED, USB LAN and power supply, SD card. So you see that Raspberry Pi is a powerful enough to drive a 1080p monitor and serve as a full-on desktop computer. In the upcoming, we have MMX embedded. We not learn Raspberry Pi versus BeagleBone Black. As you would have read above, currently the two most trending single board computers are Raspberry Pi and the BeagleBones. Let's compare the feature. So cost is a Raspberry Pi is a less cost. BeagleBone Black is a more cost. Processor 700 megahertz Broadcom. Here 1 gigahertz THC Tara AM35 Cortex 8. The RAM 512 MB SDRAM. Here also 512 MB DDRM. Summary. Now this is a more than enough to one single. We discussed about the basis of single board computing along with their practical implementation and example. Then we discussed about Raspberry Pi, which is single board computer and its feature.